yamunatira anachati yamunatira anachati jaya radha mathava kunja bhivarṣate jaya radha mathava kunja bhivarṣate Gopi jana vallabha vṛddha-vacaḥ Jaya Gopi jana vallabha vṛddha-vacaḥ Yashodanandana vṛddha-vacaḥ Yashodanandana vṛddha-vacaḥ Yamunatira vanachati yamunatira vanachati jaya radha mathava kunja bhivarṣate jaya radha mathava kunja bhivarṣate Jai Om Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astuttara Sarasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Prem Se Gaur Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Kupigo Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 57, chapter entitled Satyajit Murdered, the Jewel Returned. Starting from text 33. Tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo asau akrūra yatra devo abhivarṣate tatra na upatāpāḥ na mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūra yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat-sutas tat-prabhāvo akrūro yatra devo bhivarṣate tatra nopatāpā mārīkāḥ tat his Śvaphalkas sutaḥ son tat-prabhāvaḥ, having his powers, asau, he, akrūraḥ, akrūra, yatra, wherever, indeed, devaḥ, Lord Indra, abhivarṣate, will provide rain, tatra, there, no, upatāpāḥ, painful disturbances, no, mārīkāḥ, untimely deaths. Translation: wherever his equally powerful son Akrūra stays, Lord Indra will provide sufficient rain. Indeed, that place will be free of miseries and untimely deaths. So, this is a continuation, of course, of the argumentation of the inhabitants of Dwarka, who was referring to the experience that the inhabitants of Kashi had with the father of Akrūra, that his very auspicious influence in that city. So that is used as an argument to to why there are some disturbances in Dwarka in Akrūra's absence, and why they have to take steps to bring Akrūra back to Dwarka. There's no purport to this verse. I'll read the text 34 as well. Iti vṛddha-vacaḥ śrutvā naitāvad iha kāraṇam iti matvā samanaya prahakrūram janādana. Iti, thus vṛddha of the elders, vacaḥ the word, śrutvā having heard, not naitāvad only this, iha of the matter at hand, kāraṇam the cause, iti thus, matvā thinking, samanaya having him brought back, praha said akrūram to Akrūra, janādana Lord Krishna. Translation: hearing these words from the elders, Lord Janardana, though aware that the absence of Akrūra was not the only cause of the evil omens, had him summoned back to Dwarka and spoke to him. Purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Purport: since Lord Krishna is the supreme controller, it was obviously by his will that certain troubles appeared in the city of Dwarka. Superficially, these evils may have been caused by Akrūra's absence, and also by the absence of the auspicious Śvaphalka jewel. But we should recall that Dwarka is the eternal abode of Lord Krishna. It is a city of divine bliss, because the Lord resides there. Still, to execute his pastimes as the prince of this world, Lord Krishna did the needful and summoned Akrūra. Hare Krishna. So, maybe I should start by briefly introducing myself. It's been a while since I gave class here in this wonderful temple, so that may be useful. My name is Gaur. I was born in a small country up in Northern Europe, Denmark. I joined ISKCON in '80, and I've done many things over the years, and I also traveled quite a bit in India and other places, and Hare Krishna. So this is, of course, a very interesting pastime of the Lord, which goes over several chapters. We can say it starts with the story of the Śvaphalka jewel, and how King Satyajit, who was the father of Krishna's second wife, Satyabhama, he was in possession of this jewel, and anyway, it's a long story, and it's a lot of details, and I don't want to repeat the whole story here, but one aspect of this pastime is how Akrūra gets involved. Akrūra is a great devotee of Krishna. He is listed in Nectar of Devotion as the example of a devotee who attained perfection by offering prayers to the Lord. And there are, in fact, quite a lot of prayers which are given in the Bhagavatam, offered by Akrūra. The first is when Akrūra famously, I guess Akrūra is most famous or infamous, according to the point of view, for being the one who took Krishna away from Vrindavan. And he was acting on the order of Kamsa. Why did he do that if he's such a great devotee? Different reasons, of course. One reason was he wanted to meet Krishna, because that was his first. He had of course heard about Krishna, but he had never met him in person. So that was his first meeting, when he actually came to pick up Krishna and bring him to Mathura. And he came to Vrindavan, and just on seeing the footprints of Krishna on the ground in Vrindavan, he became overwhelmed in ecstasy and fell down on the ground and was rolling in the dust of Vrindavan, which had been touched by the Lord's lotus feet. And then he was enthusiastic to perform his task of fetching Krishna, but there were certainly others who didn't appreciate. But he did what he was supposed to do, and he, against all the attempts of especially the gopis, he snatched Krishna away from their midst. And on the way, Krishna and Balaram also came, and they stopped over the bank of the Yamuna and took a bath there. And while they were, or was it only Akrūra who took bath? He took a bath for sure. And within the Yamuna, he saw something which struck him with wonder. He saw actually the spiritual sky, actually. And he saw Krishna and Balaram in their Vishnu forms. And then he came back. He came out of the Yamuna like in a dazed condition, and he was even more surprised to see that Krishna and Balaram, they were still sitting on the chariot. And he started to wonder, who are these personalities? And then he offered his first prayers to the Lord. There's a whole chapter there with Akrūra's prayers on this occasion. But there's at least one other time which is also related in one other occasion of where Akrūra's prayers are listed in the Bhagavatam after he brought Krishna to Mathura. Then after some time, because Krishna, Akrūra, he immediately, when bringing, or after bringing Krishna to Mathura, he requested Krishna, please come to my house, please pay me a visit. But Krishna said, I'm sorry, I cannot do now. Later I will certainly fulfill your request. I have some important business here, a little some people who I have to deal with, most notably one king, Kansa. But then later on, after some time, he actually came to the house of Akrūra. And there again, Akrūra was offering very nice prayers, since Akrūra is known for having attained perfection by offering prayers to the Lord. I think we would do well to study these prayers offered by Akrūra. They're very, obviously very wonderful prayers. And the reason for, Krishna had a reason also beyond just fulfilling the request of Akrūra to visit his home. He had another reason for going there, which was he needed some service from Akrūra. He needed Akrūra to go to Hastinapur to study the situation there, because Krishna was very concerned. He knew that his close friends and devotees, the Pandava brothers, that they were in big trouble. He was very concerned. How is it going for the Pandavas in Hastinapur? So he sent Akrūra to there to study the situation. And of course, Akrūra came back with very, unsettling information that the Pandavas are indeed in great trouble. Their father passed away, and now they are without protection. Dhritarashtra is officially supposed to, pretending to be their caretaker, but actually he's actually allowing his sons, his 100 sons headed by Duryodhana, to, in all kinds of ways, trying to get rid of the Pandavas. So that was Akrūra. He was again sent on a mission, this time by Krishna himself. So Akrūra is a very interesting personality, and in this pastime also he has an important role to play. He got involved in this. It was actually Akrūra and Vṛddha-vacaḥ, as we have just heard. They were the ones who actually instigated the murder of Krishna's father-in-law, Satyajit, which is also very strange. Why did they do that? They actually convinced Satyajit, no, what is his name? Satyajit. Yeah. They convinced him to kill Satyajit because they told him that actually Satyajit, he cheated us all. He promised us to give away his daughter to several persons in marriage, among them Satyajit, and also I think even Akrūra himself. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one. But anyway, so you know, he's a cheater, and you should kill him. They actually convinced him like that, making this plot. And so Satyajit, Satyadhanva, he did that. He very mercilessly butchered Satyajit in front of his own daughter. It is described in the Bhagavatam like an animal. He butchered him like an animal. And of course, as the pastime goes, when Krishna, Satyabhama, she rushed to Hastinapur. How was it? Krishna he had gone to Hastinapur. Yeah, I forgot the exact reason for that, but she rushed to Hastinapur to inform Krishna, and Krishna, of course, rushed back to Dwarka to deal with Satyadhanva. And Satyadhanva, one could say naturally, he tried to get help from first Akrūra, first Vṛddha-vacaḥ, I think, and then Akrūra, or was it the other way around? Doesn't matter. But since they were part of the plot, he naturally expected that they would help him now, because he knew that Krishna was out to get him, but they both refused, because, you know, it's a very devious, one might say that this is very dishonest. They were the ones who convinced him to kill Satyajit, so now they are letting him down, but just telling him, sorry, we cannot help you. If Krishna is trying to kill you, then nobody can help you, and least of all us. So, yeah. But then we come here to this point in the narration where we are, because what happened was that Satyadhanva, when he found out that when he felt Krishna's breath in the neck, he panicked, and he left actually the jewel, the Shamantaka jewel with Akrūra, and he fled, but he didn't reach very far. Krishna quickly catched up with him and cut off his head with his Sudarshana chakra. And but Krishna was expecting that Satyadharma would be in possession of the Shamataka jewel, but searching all over in his clothes, he didn't find the jewel, and he was telling Balaram, who was also there, we have uselessly killed this person because he doesn't. The jewel is not in his possession. So who is having? Where is the jewel? And they went back to Dwarka. They had gone. No, actually, Balaram didn't go back. They had Satyadharma. His attempt to flee had brought him to a town called Mithila, and being that Balaram was a good friend of the king of Mithila, he stayed there, actually, it's said, for several years in that town. So only Krishna returned to Dwarka. And now the big question was, where is that jewel? And that is, we are at this point here of the narration, because again and again this is, a little strange, one may say, that after when Akrūra and Kritavarma found out that Krishna had killed Satyadharma, they became very afraid, actually. I mean, the devotees of Krishna, why to be afraid? But somehow it appears that they had some bad conscience. So they fled. They left Dwarka. And actually, it appears that nobody knew about their whereabouts. And but then the inhabitants of Dwarka, as it has been described here, they began to observe various ill omens, and they started to speculate that the reason was, as it is explained here, that Akrūra was absent. And this is, of course, when Krishna, as it is said here, that this was quite meaningless, because how can there be any, if there is some apparent inauspicious occurrences in Dwarka, it's not because of Akrūra's absence. It must be by the will of the Lord, because Krishna is there. Nothing inauspicious can happen in the presence of the Lord. And if there is something apparently inauspicious, it should be considered that actually it is all the plan it must be the plan of the Lord, and therefore it cannot be inauspicious. Everything is auspicious, which is arranged by Krishna. And this brings up an important point that also applies to us in our lives, because sometimes we also experience things, even as devotees, which appear to be inauspicious. We just had an inauspicious occurrence when Gopal Krishna Maharaj left this mortal world, and there was much sorrow naturally in this connection, but the same thing applies. Gopal Krishna Maharaj was a great devotee of Krishna, so his life is in Krishna's hands, and whatever happens, we should understand it is auspicious. We may not understand exactly in which way it is auspicious. It may seem to us that it is the opposite, but on principle we must accept that if we surrender to Krishna, everything will be taken care of. Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita, in many places, like in the 9th chapter, he says, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham, that to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I take care of them in every way. So sometimes Krishna is taking care of his devotees may be a little difficult to understand, but a devotee does not complain about the activities of Krishna. They have full faith that Krishna, whatever he does, is for the good of everyone. And even if we don't understand, we surrender. We keep our faith in the Lord, and eventually we will understand why Krishna did things or does things in a certain way. This was also exemplified by the inhabitants of Vrindavan on the occasion of the lifting of the Govardhan hill. One of Krishna's most famous pastimes. He convinced the inhabitants of Vrindavan to forego the yatra they were about to perform to Lord Indra and worship Govardhan hill instead. And what happened? Big trouble. He really, he really put them in big difficulty with his this instruction, this advice. But they didn't blame him. They didn't say, Krishna, why did you do this? Look what you got us into here. No, they simply took shelter of Krishna. Krishna, please help us. We are fully dependent on you. And Krishna, of course, he helped them in the most wonderful way by lifting Govardhan hill and keeping it up on his left pinky for no less than 7 days. So like that, we have to, we are being tested. Our faith is being tested. We should not we should expect that, we should know that. But the test is, don't lose faith. Life is difficult, and it's very easy to forget Krishna. This material world is such a confusing place that we are in the habit of thinking of everything not Krishna. So it's a big challenge, actually, to always remember Krishna in the bad times, in the good times. And it's the key to success is really to stay in the association of advanced devotees who can help us, remind us when we become covered by illusion, that don't forget, Krishna is still there, and somehow or another, everything is within his plan, and just try to understand what is your duty, what should you do in this situation. Don't forget about devotional service. Don't become bitter don't become angry with Krishna, but go on serving, and in this way everything will work out. This is famous verse from Bhagavatam. Tate nukampam susamikṣamānam punjana evatma kritam vipākam idvātma purvya vidatam namasti jivita yo mukti pade sadaipak. As Prabhupada said, this verse should be the guiding light for a devotee. It's a verse from Lord Brahma's prayers after Krishna lifted, after the Brahma Vimohan Lila, and he's stating that a devotee, he suffers all kinds of adverse conditions, patiently and without complaint, actually thinking, I'm getting much less suffering than I actually deserve. By Krishna's mercy, I should suffer much more. But by Krishna's mercy, he's only giving me a little token of what I actually deserve. And he never gives up his service. He continues to offer his obeisances to the Lord, and waiting patiently for the day when Krishna will bestow his mercy. He is not impatient. I've been serving you for so long, Krishna. How can you do this to me? I cannot wait any longer. No. Patiently waits for the day when Krishna will reward him for his devotional service. Prabhupada once said, Krishna wants to see how painstaking the devotee is in his service. Yeah. So we have to expect that. One time, Prabhupada said he was lecturing on the famous prayers of Queen Kunti, where at one point she expresses actually her desire that the calamities that her and the Pandavas had experienced, that they may continue. And Prabhupada says something like that. He remarks that. So we see that when we take through devotional service, our suffering increases. Oh no, you should have told me this before. Maybe I would not have, joined this movement. Yeah, well, this needs a purport, of course, the statement, because the suffering that the devotee undergoes in devotional service is only apparent suffering. It's not the kind of suffering that the materialists experience in their struggle for survival in the material world. It's actually a very intense form of ecstasy. Advanced devotees, they don't mind the tribulations that they undergo in carrying out the mission of the Lord. Why? Because they have realization, they experience that these hardships, they are the ticket to Krishna's mercy. When Krishna sees that how painstaking his devotee is, how he doesn't give in, he continues with his devotional service in any condition. Krishna's mercy is very great. That's the ticket, the price for getting Krishna's mercy. And Krishna's mercy is worth all the trouble. When a tested devotee experiences the mercy of Krishna, he feels that it's not only was it all worth it, but this trouble, it was nothing. It was not trouble, it was ecstasy. Thank you, Krishna, that you gave me this chance to show what I'm really worth. He becomes so happy and satisfied and grateful to the Lord that he so kindly bringing him closer and closer. Krishna is simply scheming to bring us closer to him in many different ways that we don't understand, but we don't need to understand, and that's the point I'm making. We just have to keep faith in Krishna, and then eventually we will understand why Krishna is doing what he's doing, and things will work out. We simply have to go on with our devotional service. And Lord Brahma says, a devotee who lives his life in that way, there is already a place reserved for him in the spiritual sky. He becomes what is called Tayabhak. The example is that if you are the son of a rich man, all his wealth is due to you. You may not immediately receive or feel the benefit of having such a wealthy father, but all you have to do is wait patiently. Of course, the wise thing to do for a wealthy father is to give his wealth, hand over his assets to his son before he dies, because otherwise the risk is that the son may just curse him to die. There are examples of, of people who have killed their relatives just to get the inheritance. So, we don't want that. It's better to give away, hand over your wealth to the next generation before you have to, before you die. But either way, if you are the son of a rich man, his wealth is due to you. You simply have to wait patiently for the time when either he decides or when he dies, and then, you have no anxieties, or you're taken care of. You will inherit all the wealth. So similarly, devotees, the wealth of Krishna, the wealth of the whole spiritual sky is due to us. But when Krishna decides, we should not be impatient. We should simply go on with our devotional service and have faith that everything will work out for us in the most wonderful way. Hare Krishna. So, I had a whole list of things, but anyway, I found something else to speak about. Any questions, comments? We stop normally at 9, huh? Okay, time is up. Hare Krishna.